Outnumbered, Improbable heroes. Roll dice, do math. Chris, I'm ready whenever. Roll the dice, do math, save the city. Outnumbered. What are you doing?
Well, hello there, young lady.
No.
Allow me.
Young lady? That is extremely patronizing.
Choose a card. Any
I will
card
not
that
be
you so
choosing a
desire.
card. Why are you dressed like a magician? No.
I
What?
am a mathemagician.
No. No, you're not.
Hey everybody, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yi.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
Today we're taking a look at this, Outnumbered. This is a kids' math and pun game.
Pun?
Oh, improbable heroes outthwart the evil in a math-based cooperative puzzle. Absolute Zero and his minions are loose in Megatropolis. There's puns all over the place. You don't know what you signed up for, did you?
I was not prepared for that. No, I have no comeback. But I think just because it includes a pun doesn't make it a pun game.
Okay, well that's fair. Let me show you how it's played, and then we'll give you our thoughts. Here's the setup for a game of Outnumbered. This is a cooperative game where players are playing together as these superhero mathematicians here, trying to use dice and number manipulation to match the numbers on these villain cards out here and eliminate them before they overrun the city. Basically, each round, or approximately each round, the villains will advance, marching towards the city. If they ever advance into a barricade, they eliminate the barricade, as well as themselves, but in the future, if any villain comes along and makes it onto a space where there no longer is a barricade here, the city is lost, and the players will lose the game. Play consists of three basic phases here. I'm showing you here the most advanced version of the rules here called the hero mode. There's also a sidekick mode where you won't use event cards and you won't use the purple cards because they are the trickier numbers. There's also what's called the training mode, which is for the youngest players, ages 4+, where you use 2 dice, just addition and subtraction, and you use only the smallest of the cards out there. But let me show you what hero mode of the game looks like. Players on their turn will roll dice, defeat villains, and then advance the truck here. We need to let the truck safely get back here to the atomic labs. So on your turn, you roll the dice, and you're trying to use these to get these different mathematic functions here. So for example, I might multiply, you know what, I'm going to square 4. 4 squared is 16, so I can use that to eliminate this villain here. 5 times 3 is 15, so there's nothing really great there. But I can use my player power, maybe to flip one of these dice over to its opposite side. And so we'll see if I can do that. With this 5, I can just eliminate a 5 straight up. And then maybe I can't do anything with this last die, and that's fine. But I look at my bonus card here. There are some bonus powers. You can spend these power cards to do things like eliminate a villain with a prime number, like 37. Well, they're gone. So now it's the end of my turn. The last thing you do is you advance the truck. If you hit one of these kapow action spaces, then all the villains that are out on the board will advance. They will bring out 5 new villain cards up at the top here. And then if you are playing with the heroic mode, as we are, because I'm a hero, you flip over an event card. Watch out! All villains with even numbers in the top row will advance. Only the 12 in this case. If ever there are cards in front of one that is forced to advance, you would move all of them along. Now, at the end of a turn, you just pass the dice, and the next player gets to go. You roll, you have your special powers, like multi-pull here can double the value of a die, and they have different cards that they can use. A few other little things here. If you ever eliminate a villain that's on a space with a yellow outline like this, using the dice, not using these bonus powers, if you use the dice and mathematics to eliminate these, that's how you get more bonus power cards. And then you can also have the different player powers. There are 6 to choose from. Set dice equal to each other. Reroll dice. Subtract 1 or 2. Add 1. Flip to the opposite side, or even double the value. Certain of these event cards will make villains pop out of these spaces here. Once the truck advances all the way down here to the bottom, the atomics lab area of the board, no new villains will come out for the entire game, but every turn these will advance forward, and you have to eliminate all of the villains off of the board before one of the areas gets breached. At the end of the game, if you'd like, you could look at your tally your score here. 10 to 15 points if you, 10 points if you win the game, protect the infinity generator. 3 additional points for each remaining barricade. And 5 points if you defeated the villain of this story, Absolute Zero. 30 points being a perfect score, and anything less than that you get a different rating on here. And that's how you play Outnumbered. So in actuality, this is a math game. I mean, that's
Right.
what this is. A cooperative tower defense game, right? And
Yeah.
And this is a reprinting or a reskin of the one that you've played before.
Right, so it's a reimplementation of City of Zombies, which is a game that I used quite a bit when I was homeschooling my son. I used it for like Game Friday or whatever, I said, do you want to do this worksheet, to practice our skills this week, or do you want to play this game? And he always chose the game.
That's odd how that works out.
Crazy. Would you have chosen the game or the spreadsheet? I'm sorry, not the spreadsheet. Obviously the spreadsheet, but the worksheet.
Oh, no. I mean, I would have chosen the game. In fact...
Really? Oh, shocker.
Yeah, well, in fact, I played this just for fun myself. Because
I see that,
it's the math in it, the idea of like squaring and multiplication's a little bit old for our daughter. And so I played this just on my own and had fun with it.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah. It's...
Right.
Is the math challenging? No, but is the actual tower defense part of it a pretty decent game? Yeah.
Right. I will say I that is one thing that I did find it challenging. It's I used it mainly to work on his math skills and kind of that math creation, of trying to, hey, this is the sum or the difference, or this is the product that you want. How do you get there? Can you get there using these 3 numbers? And so I used it primarily for that. But it's also a decent game. Like, you have to work at it, and you have to be strategic. Like, I could take out either of these. I could either take out these 2 or this one, but that one is actually a higher threat right now. So I need to prioritize that. So yeah, I think as far as the game goes, it is challenging.
But then also, I mean, and kids will figure out too, the lower something gets, obviously the more of a threat it is. Mm-hmm. But you roll a combination of dice for a really wacky number that's a little higher up, and you say, okay, well, 147 is going to be really hard to get otherwise, so let's take that one out now, and the odds of getting a 12 next round will be better. So I like it's not just the math that it teaches, but also cooperative gaming skills and
probability, statistics, things like that. Yeah,
so outside of just the basic arithmetic, which I thought was really neat. It has a comic book look to it. The original was City of Zombies with the horror look to it. Do you have any thoughts on this change, this reskin?
As far as the change, I think it really is just going to depend on which theme is more your kid is more into. Mine is definitely more into zombies, and this wasn't available at that point. But I think the artwork of the old one is great. It has a good look, has a really good flow and everything to it. So I really think it is just a matter of preference of the theme and the artwork. So between those two, as far as like the actual game between the two, it is the same. It is the same game. It really is just a re-implementation. I will say the rule book took out a lot of the different modes to play in. So the original one, all the numbers were like color coded. So if you, like in this one, it has a for 4 and under module, and so you only put in numbers or products, of 0 to, I don't even know, 0, 1 through 10 or something like that. Whereas the old one, it had, maybe 1 through 15, and then it had 15 through 47. And not all the numbers are included, of course, but it actually, I want to say, almost scaled a little bit better. Are you going to do addition and multiplication, or just addition and subtraction? Are you going to throw in some square roots and things like that? So it had a little more flexibility on the age that could play, and I do kind of miss that. But that being said, this one's a lot more streamlined because of that. It's very much like you play 4 and under, basic game or advanced game, and that's it. So it kind of takes out that muddiness of...
Which of the 6 rule sets are we playing with, kind of a thing?
Right, yeah, right.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
I think that I really like it. I don't know if that other one, if the City of Zombies was widely distributed. I think it was hard to find in a lot of places.
Yeah, it was extremely. I had to import it actually from overseas and paid a lot of money for that.
Right, for children's math game.
Right, but again, I was homeschooling, and it was, part of that expense of doing that, in order to just kind of switch things up a little bit. And so for me, it made sense, but a lot of people it won't as far as like a game. No, it was very difficult to get. And the only way was from the publisher, which is a very small publisher based in the UK.
Gotcha. And so this one here is from Genius Games Junior. And I really like Genius Games in general.
Yeah.
I think that's a company that I respect a lot because they make educational games that are also games,
Right.
really
Yes.
solid genotype and periodic.
Cellulose and periodic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was excited to see a junior line of games.
Yeah.
I think that, we've spoken a lot of good about it. Some of the shortcomings, like you mentioned, but overall, final thoughts and score on this one?
My final thoughts, I'm coming in pretty high on this one. I'm going to come in at a 7.5. I think I do still prefer the UK one, but that's just because of the flexibility of those different modes to play, as well as the cards had kind of a little cheat sheet almost, I guess, clue up in the right corner.
It's like a reference, like a small reference icon.
Right, a small reference, just to kind of clue the kids in. It wouldn't give them the answer, but like, hey, this number, if you have a 10 and a 2, you can make this card work. Well, they still have to figure out how. And so I think there's a couple little things like that I miss out of it. But that being said, I think this is a great re-implementation. I mean, that is my only hang-ups or a couple snags. I wouldn't even call them hang-ups. It's kind of like, oh, I missed that because I have that reference of the original. Without that reference of the original, I think this is a fantastic game. My son would never ask to play it, because he's not Chris Yi, but
he's out there skateboarding
and
being
skateboarding and diving and yeah. So, but he also never complained, and he always chose this over doing any other sort of review in math. And every time we played it, we had fun. It wasn't this begrudgingly get into it and then drag through. He kind of like, all right, fine. And then we got into it and had a great time, and he really enjoyed the tower defense mechanism of it, and so I'm going to come in at a 7.5. I really like this game, especially. I think, what it's going for, educational, math review facts, kind of creative thinking in the math realm. I think it really nails it.
That's awesome. I'm going to give this one an 8 because I think it's that fun. I think that it's solid. Is an educational tool, all that stuff. Absolutely. And it nails that part of it. And it also nails that idea of being a fun game. The pressure is on, but it gives you lots of little boosts. I like the power cards. Eliminate a prime number, and so that's just a different math concept. And so you're sitting there looking at 23. I had to think of a prime number, right? And you're like, sweet, glad to get rid of that one. There's a lot of moments of excitement in this. It takes me back a little bit to in my middle school days playing Crypto. If anyone ever played that little card game, the mathematics card game, but this puts a much better framework around. It's not just do math the game.
Right.
It's really fun. So
it's tower defense with math.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So as my daughter gets older and maybe we play this more, that score might even go up. Honestly, but I think it's rare to say that this is a really amazing kids game, and I think that it is. All right. So there you go. That's our thoughts on Outnumbered. Thanks for coming by the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yi.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
Have yourselves a math-tastic day.